The time signature, measures, and bar lines. We use a few basic symbols to notate meter. At the beginning of the staff, a time signature tells us how many beats are in each measure and which note value gets one beat. The music is then divided into box-like sections called measures, which are separated by vertical lines called bar lines. To read time signatures are usually placed at the beginning of a piece of music, but they can also appear later if the meter changes later on. Most time signatures use two numbers, one written above the other. In simple meters, which is what we'll be sticking to now, we'll explore other types later. The top number tells you the number of beats in each measure. So a 2 indicates a duple meter, 2 beats. A 3 indicates triple meter, 3 beats. And a 4 indicates quadruple meter, 4 beats. The bottom number tells you which note value represents one beat, also called the beat unit. So a 1 stands for a whole note, a 2 for a half note, 4 for a quarter note, 8 for an eighth note, and so on. The time signature in the graphic above shows a 3 over a 4. So in order to describe this time signature, we can say something like, this 3/4 time signature means there are 3 quarter note beats per measure. In other words, there are 3 beats in every measure, and each beat looks like a quarter note. We can make a process of this. To read each time signature aloud, we simply say the top number first and the bottom number second. For example, 2 over 4, we would read as 2/4 time, and we would say something to the effect of, this 2/4 time signature means there are 2 quarter note beats per measure. 4 over 4, we would say 4/4, and that means there are 4 quarter note beats per measure. And 3 over 2 is read as 3/2 time and means there are 3 half note beats per measure. Once a time signature is set, every measure must add up to the total duration it indicates. For instance, measures in 3/4 have to add up to the duration of 3 quarter notes, while measures in 4/4 must add up to the duration of 4 quarter notes. We can look at some examples here. I'll click the buttons to look at a few different meters. The musical staff will show only the beats of the given meter, which is the simplest way to show what each time signature means. For instance, if the meter is 2/4, the musical score will show 2 quarter notes. If the meter is 3/2, it will show 3 half notes. Remember, each measure in a given meter can contain many different rhythms, but the total duration must always match what the time signature specifies. The most common time signatures that we see today are those that use a quarter note beat. So 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Looking at 2/4, we see the 2 over the 4, and again that means 2 beats per measure, and the beat unit is a quarter note. So if we see that in a measure, the simplest way to show that time signature is 2 quarter notes. In 3/4, the beat unit is the same, it's still a quarter note, but now we have 3 beats per measure, which makes it a triple meter, like a waltz. 4/4 is our quadruple meter that's most common, and again 4 on top means 4 beats in the measure, 4 on the bottom means the beats are written as quarter notes. Let's look at a few others. We don't necessarily have to use the quarter note for a beat. We might choose to use eighths for the beat, in which case we could write something like 2/8. Still 2 beats in the measure, but the look of the beat is now an eighth note. We can do the same with a half note. 2/2 would mean 2 beats per measure, and the beat looks like a half note. 3/2, which is pretty common in some of the older forms like Renaissance music, is a way of writing triple meter with half notes for the beats. So 3 beats per measure, and the beat unit is a 2, a half note. Common time and cut time. There are 2 special symbols that are often used instead of 4/4 and 2/2 time signatures. A letter C is commonly used to represent 4/4. You can remember it like C for common, since 4/4 is such a common time signature. And a letter C with a slash through it stands for 2/2 and is often called cut time.